See you.
Nice to see you. Hello, everyone. Nice to see all of you as well. Carrie and Dr. Rob Kiltz here. Today, I'm thankful, grateful, blessed, coming to you live from the world famous Montello Theater. Honored to have Dr. Rob Kiltz on the live stream tonight. Looks like we have a whole bunch of people jumping in. How you doing, Dr. Kiltz?
I am awesome and amazing. Thank you for the invitation. Always spectacular to be sharing the story of healing humanity. I'm here visiting my daughter, her husband, the baby, and it's just like I'm so in heaven right now.
Oh, it's amazing. How's the baby?
Oh, the baby is fantastic. Giulio
Julia.
Castro di Carlo. Awesome.
That's amazing. That's got to
Yeah.
be something, Dr. Kiltz. Like you've literally delivered what, thousands of babies? You've
Yeah,
seen
thousands of babies, helped people conceive and delivered some of them, and it's so much more special when you get to see your child who's grown up and having a beautiful baby, and just watching her and her husband and the family interact with beautiful Giulio. It's heaven sent.
That's awesome. I'm so happy for you. Grandpa Kiltz, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing, Dr. Kiltz, how fast this stuff goes by?
Pilar was born yesterday, and it is rocking amazing. The speed of life is at the speed of light. That is for sure.
It's crazy. We just had today's one of my I'm happy too. Today's one of my happy days because we have the world famous Montello Theater. It's movie day. That's always exciting. I'm
Yeah.
happy because I'm on with Dr. Kiltz. I normally do a live stream every Saturday night. We had this young girl in just a couple minutes ago upstairs, Dr. Kiltz, 7 or 8 years old, and she had her allowance money to pay for her ticket. And she totally reminded me of my daughter, Alyssa, because Jen and I brought the triplets here with their allowance money, and they bought tickets at this very movie theater when Alyssa was her age, 7 years old. And Alyssa's about to turn 18 now. It's just blowing my mind. She's like graduating from high school. It's so quick. The speed of light for sure.
And to see them evolving and doing all these wonderful things and interacting in life, and it's just a wonderful thing to see that beautiful child that you raised and held, and is now doing what you were doing. And I'm sure you see it, and with your beautiful family, and it's wonderful what we're all doing. And ultimately, family building is our real mission in life, of building our families. And when it's not happening naturally, it's such a challenge for people, and to see people that are going through it and be able to help them. And one of the things I've found in the carnivore world is that it significantly helps those that are suffering from infertility and miscarriage, and helps them conceive and deliver where nothing else was working. So that's the beauty of this story.
That's why I love you so much, Dr. Kiltz. I know I've said this before, but it just puts a big smile on my face. The biggest miracle in my life is my children, my family, having my family. And I think about all of the young families walking around in the world because of you sharing your truth and your story and helping people. I don't think there's any bigger calling in the world than that. I mean, that's just incredible. So it's funny what you just said. Jen and I had a conversation earlier. I don't know how we got into this, but she was talking about when she delivered the triplets, because she's like coming up on 1 year carnivore now. She's doing really well. But she was a vegetarian like her whole life. She would have like a little bit of turkey here or there, but 99% of her diet, she hated meat her whole life. But we were reminiscing earlier, probably because we were talking about you and your grandchild, but she was saying, I remember when but just before she delivered the triplets, her dad came over and he said, what kind of food do you want? And she's like, get me some burgers. And her body was just craving meat. And she was like, literally, she had a meat aversion. Her body was screaming, like, give me. And she said she had like 8 burgers or something, just insane number of burgers at that time after having like no meat. So it makes sense. It makes sense now.
Well, why do people want to eat fake burgers, fake meat?
Right.
Because the brain wants them to eat meat.
Right.
I mean, they'll eat anything that tastes or looks like meat, and they've been brainwashed that meat is bad, but they've made a meat substitute for us, right? It's you can't substitute truth and reality.
Right. I heard someone say the other day, they're like, you don't see them making fake broccoli.
No, no.
It's just the meat. They're
But
faking the meat.
that might be maybe that's what we need to do. Make broccoli out of beef. I was watching Ivy Sardi from Australia. He was making donuts out of beef and wrapped with like prosciutto. And so I think we just need to, let's see, broccoli out of meat. That'll be a good one.
Turn the tables. Yeah. I'd eat
Yep.
that. I'd eat that for sure. Well, I'm excited to have you on tonight, Dr. Kiltz. We got a couple of announcements, and there's a whole bunch of people jumping on. If you guys have any questions for myself or Dr. Kiltz, please post them with a QQQ. We'll give stuff away too. We'll give away a Healing Humanity shirt. So post your best question for Dr. Kiltz with #ribeye, and we'll do a random drawing for a Healing Humanity shirt. Check out drkiltz.com. We're going to talk about some meetups. We've got one coming up in Austin. And Dr. Kiltz, we have quite a few meetups together, which I'm really excited about. You've been such a great supporter. You've been to so many of our meetups already. But if people want to find more of your meetups, I think you have that on your website, Dr. Kiltz, or kiltzmeetup.com.
Kiltz Meetup, but I'm working to make sure we get it on drkiltz.com when the page opens. It's all there. We'll be in Austin on the 8th. We'll be down in Australia on the 26th. And then Meatstock, my Meatstock hat with our good friend Scott Everson and so many others going there. And then I think we'll be in Tennessee for one. We got all the dates there. My brain can't remember. I'm working on one in Syracuse in September. But they always include Healing Humanity, because my mission in life is that we really help grow. I donated to Healing Humanity so we can get it moving. And if you can't donate, at least be there for the meetups. Join the new. What's the new website now for Healing Humanity?
It's healinghumanity.life. And there's a promo code in the description if you want to sign up for that. Yeah, the proceeds from that go to support the documentary. And I found a need for it. I don't know about you, Dr. Kiltz. There's some people they just go off and they're okay. And then there's other people, I think most of the people that need more community, at least maybe for the first couple weeks starting carnivore. So that's what we're trying to do with the membership site. And you got Kiltz Mighty Tribe too. So check out Kiltz Mighty Tribe. I have links in the description, by the way, for drkiltz.com, the meetups and all of that too. So make sure you guys check all that out.
And think of the investment in Healing Humanity as an investment to your family, communities, and global health and wellness, because what we've been taught is a lie. And I'm sorry, you can't make fake meat. It doesn't exist. It's deadly for us. And it's industrial produced. And you can't trust what they're putting in anything. I mean, the last I heard, they recommended tobacco to all of us at one point. They recommend alcohol to us, which we know is deadly. And now they're trying to sell us marijuana because you need it to quell your pain, which they won't tell you is caused by the plants. They want to tell you it's that meat again. It's just that meat. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Oh, I got a little, sorry. I'm trying to, if you have questions, please post them with the QQQ. I don't want to miss any of the questions. We just mentioned this one, just so you guys see quickly. Austin, Texas, March 8th. It's going to be a lot of fun. I don't know about you, Dr. Kiltz, but it seems like this is almost turning into like a movement. We just showed a video clip from the Arizona one. It was crazy, the number of people that are coming out. This one we have the Texas boys. Have you chatted with the Texas boys yet, Dr. Kiltz?
I have not, or maybe I did, but my brain doesn't remember. But I don't think so. We're going to be down there. We're going to be doing some video along with you, and we're going to be doing podcasting. I've got Sean Mike Kelly podcast I'm doing on Monday the 10th, and we're really down there to just inspire each and every one of us to this cause. Again, it doesn't make sense to the propaganda we've all been taught, but now we're seeing with the Maha movement making all of us healthy again and again and again, and ultimately we need to share this. And yeah, Kiltz is going to get on with Joe Rogan. I'm hoping to meet with Robert Kennedy. We're really hoping to share what Carrie and the family is all put together to show us a new way of healing. And I can tell you, I mean, I would just be sharing my stuff, but it was the connection with Carrie and Adam and Jen and Emma and everyone here. I mean, I've met so many in the community, and recognizing we're all family. And I used to recommend a plant-based Mediterranean diet, and I suffered. And I said, well, just exercise more, and here's a drug for you. And eventually, some of my patients were doing this thing called paleo diet, and they were getting pregnant. I'm like, what is that? And I had no idea what it was. But when I learned, I'm like, and then I did it, and then I got better, and then I fell into keto, and then slam bam, carnivore almost 15 years ago. I'm almost 70 years young, and it is like amazing. And listen, I have no idea how long I'm going to live, but I can tell you every day I'm going to live as if it's the last damn day for me on walking this earth. But I'm going to go right back to the fertilizer, and I'm going to become some other entity of the universe that's on the journey to help and heal humanity.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love it. Hey, you mentioned Joe Rogan. I would love to see you on Joe Rogan, or both of us on Joe Rogan. Let's do it together. I love Joe Rogan, but the thing that bothers me with him is this little thing. I feel like he loves carnivore. He understands carnivore, but I think he looks at it more from the perspective of a weight loss diet versus this is saving people's lives. People are overcoming clinical depression, reversing type 2 diabetes. I think it goes deeper than what he realizes. So I think that would be amazing to get the word out on there.
Well, I think that's a amazingly important statement you made. You know, Joe's out there. He's an entertaining guy, numbers guy, obviously. In order to be there, he's drawn so many people. And so, you know, that probably has a little bit on there on the direction of exactly what he shares. But I think, I don't know how old he is, but I think maybe he hasn't suffered enough yet where it's like, okay, I need this. But we support him. We maybe should go to his, doesn't he have a comedy club in Austin when we're there? And we'll go up there and it's like, all right, Joe, we're here to be on the show. Or we'll just
have like 100 of these in the audience.
Yes.
You'll have to be like, what the heck is that?
Yes. Well, you know, and Lauren Knight Hughes is going to be there. Do you want to put that list back up there so we can really
Lauren Knight Hughes, the Texas boys, just real quick, I'll show this picture. These guys are crazy. You got to have them on at some time. The whole family of 8 doing carnivore, and they're just the nicest, greatest people. So they're going to be sharing their story. Adam's going to be sharing his story. Dr. Kiltz, Nia from Nia's Way, amazing story. She shared in Montello. She's been a great supporter of healing humanity. And then Pastor Jimmy and Annette, who are starring in the documentary alongside Dr. Kiltz and others. They've got just an incredible story as well. They told me, Dr. Kiltz, when we interviewed them, and this is something I've learned from everyone we've interviewed so far, which has been 45 plus interviews now. They said they've been running their church for 20 years. And after 1 year on carnivore, their congregation doubled in size. And this is what I'm hearing from everyone doing carnivore. It's not overhyping carnivore. When you have this energy, your cognitive ability improves, your brain fog goes away, you can work longer hours, like whatever your success metric is in life, it seems to go up. And that's been the case for literally every person we've talked to that's been doing this. They're like, whatever I was doing, like it's so much better. So people always talk about the cost of carnivore, and I think we've debunked that many times. But when you account for the fact that whatever you're doing in life, you're so much more successful, that right there pays for it by itself, I think. But
you want to be a lion or a sheep?
Lion.
A lion or a sheep? You are what you eat. meaning that you become that which is consuming the food. And lions eat meat and sheep eat grass and grains. Grass and grains cause wild lions and wolves to become domesticated cats and dogs. And it really is just so amazingly simple.
Absolutely. Okay, someone said my voice is low. Let me make sure. Can you hear me okay, Dr.
I
Kiltz?
can hear you okay. Yeah.
All right,
Sound good.
I'll talk a little louder. All right, I should have had Jen here helping. We've got a lot of comments and questions coming in. We're gonna get to the questions in just 1 minute. I gotta ask Dr. Kiltz one question. The best advice that you've given me, I want more wisdom in life, and I don't know anyone more wiser than Dr. Kiltz. And one of the things you told me in London was a lot of your wisdom has come from reading great books and learning. Here's a book. You've read so many books. Have you read this one yet?
Meat 3 times a day. Not yet.
I'm gonna gift this to you.
That's
I'm
you're
gonna
amazing.
gift this to you when we're out there. I gotta read just this one quick paragraph, and then I gotta tell you the punchline behind this because this is so interesting to me. So, real quick, the wonder-working blood builder and regenerator, assuager of epilepsy and migraine, the substance that favors rapid healing of wound and burns, that brings life to those dying of pernicious anemia, that protects the liver against injury from alcohol and disease, that helps overcome stammering, that cures pellagra, that aids recovery from tuberculosis, a nutritional necessity for the steady drinker and smoker, protector of the body against poisons and infections, health guardian for man, woman, and child. And yet, ladies and gentlemen, these magical results are accomplished without injections, without pills, without drugs. You take this wonder-working substance right at your own dinner table. Its name is meat. So the reason that this is pretty awesome, this book was written 80 years ago in the 1940s, 80 years ago. And that little passage, I just randomly went through and I'm like, okay, this looks interesting. Here's a paragraph. I keep doing that and I haven't read the whole book yet. I keep flipping through and it's like every paragraph. I'm like, oh my goodness. Right now in 2025, this is so relevant. And the thing was written 80 years ago.
Well, if you go back to the 1850s and 60s when James Henry Salisbury was in the Civil War, graduated Albany Med in 1850s, and he was feeding his men meat to heal them of dysentery and pneumonia. Then he wrote a treatise on that, the relationship of alimentation and disease, which you can get on Amazon, a great, amazing book. But the stories go back and back and back and back. And we just keep on reminding our human brothers and sisters that we came out of the trees to eat the grass eaters, not the grass.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's so hard with us humans because we get this, oh, it's just always been this way. And it's like, no, it hasn't always been this way. It's just for your life, which seems like forever, but that's just a sliver of time in the grand scheme of things. It's hard for humans, I think, to wrap our brains around the grand scheme of things. But hey, we got Papa Carnivore in the chat. All right, we got a bunch of questions coming in here now. I'm going to try to get organized. Dr. Nelson.
He's in the house.
Carnivore Coach Lisa's here as well. Love, Syracuse, New York. Caleb Carnivore Quest. All right, I'm getting organized. I get yelled at, Dr. Kiltz, because I end up I got to shut up and just read these questions. I end up falling behind. It goes crazy sometimes. And
I get yelled at every day. It's okay.
Right. All right, here we go. We got a good stockpile now. Questions. We got new member Paul and Honeybee. Thank you for that. And we got
awesome.
This young man excites me, Dr. Kiltz. Caleb's Carnivore Quest, teenager doing carnivore. He came out in Arizona to meet with us. His question is, Dr. Kiltz, what's the best way to eat on carnivore for optimal weight?
Whatever your weight is, it is optimal right now. And as you consume a carnivore lifestyle, your weight will continue to be optimal. If you're overweight, as they say, your BMI, your weight will drop. Your body's like, okay, now I'm not in a fight or flight. I've got to gain more weight to survive the famine, because that's what a standard diet does. It makes your brain think there's going to be a famine, wants you to be fat. And so if you're underweight, it will bring you up to that ideal optimal weight. Now, the problem is you're thinking, well, I should be this weight or I should be this weight. No, you want to imagine you're already perfect in everything about your life and your body as you visualize and move towards your dream. If you want to lose weight, well, then eat more. Okay, temporarily eat leaner meat and eat more and lift more weights and walk more. If you want to gain more weight, okay, fattier meat and walk less, but still lift the weights, the hardship. Now, I've heard the opposite story too. People say, well, the more fat I ate, the more I lost, because it reduces it improves your satiety, makes you think I'm full already. But I don't believe there is an optimal weight, by the way. I don't believe obesity is the cause of disease, but if you're underweight, that's tragic when it comes to famines, migration, hibernation, war, disease, all those things.
That's something I've heard you talk about. You mentioned on the other call, and it really started sinking in with me. My friend Dwight, who was best friends with Jeff, he said the same thing to me before. He's like, I keep a couple extra pounds on just in case something comes up. God forbid I end up with cancer or something like that. I'll have some extra weight on, some extra fuel in the tank, essentially. And I'm starting to realize it more too, because when I started losing all my weight, I'm down 100 pounds since my heaviest. When I got down to like my, I don't know, goal weight or whatever my natural weight was, I started getting really hungry. And then I started learning the science behind it. Yeah, it's because I don't have any fuel in the tank. Most of the fat's gone now. So you start getting kind of more hungry. So it makes sense. Thank you, Caleb. Shout out Caleb's Carnivore Quest. Everyone go check out that young man's YouTube channel.
Absolutely. We all need to join, subscribe, and get all these people. Listen, I'd love to interview anyone that wants to be interviewed on my channel. I know Healing Humanity is building the stories, and your story is important. And it seems to me everyone here has a YouTube channel. That means you need to be sharing your story. Critical.
Absolutely. Carrie Kiltsey, good evening from Michael. Thank you, Michael. Good evening. Congratulations from Aunt B. Dr. Grandpa Kiltz, congratulations.
We still haven't decided what Julio is going to call me, but I'd say I don't care. Whatever it is, I'll go by that.
Papa Carnivore. We got one of those already. Chow CEO is asking, Dr. Kiltz, what are your thoughts on blue blocker glasses?
I mean, mine are supposedly blue blockers, and everyone's got the tinted glasses. I don't think too much about this stuff personally. I enjoy life. There's a lot of little nuances of the little bits that you need to be careful about that. But I don't worry about any of that stuff personally. I just eat meat, enjoy life, have faith in God, and connect with everyone and anyone to share the word.
Absolutely. Here we go. Lewis, what's playing in the theater today? We're playing the Captain America movie today, and we got a really good crowd up there now. I'm excited for the next movie. The next movie is Paddington the Bear, which maybe you guys wouldn't have pegged me for a big Paddington guy, but I love the Paddington movies. So that's the one we're playing next weekend. It's always fun because lots of kids and families come out for that one. So, Dr. Nelson, how is Julio doing?
Julio, it's Julio with the G-I. Giulio, Julio. Awesome and amazing. I got a chance to hold him, and he slept in my arms for an hour or so, and it's just so beautiful to see that little beautiful baby, and I feel very blessed, but amazing. He'll be in college soon.
Right. Blink your eyes.
Yes.
Carnivore is asking, have you ever delivered triplets?
Yes. I've done triplets. I've done quadruplets long ago, but mostly singletons and twins.
Wow.
I haven't delivered a baby in 20 years, but I create a lot now. That's my job.
Right. The triplets, it's one of the most profound, sort of vivid moments in my life when that happened. It was the C-section, obviously, but they separated the babies from Jen, and because she was major issues, so she wasn't able to see the girls for 3 days. So I had the privilege and honor to go down, and I was the first one to meet them. And just walking into that room, I remember walking in there. There were 18 people in that room, 3 pods. It was like 6 doctor, nurse, specialists. It was pediatric and neonatal intensive care unit, because my daughter Katie was literally like that big. I mean, she was 2 pounds. They were right around 2 pounds. So thankfully they were all healthy. But wow, so you've delivered triplets. That's a great question. I never asked you that one myself. Thank you, carnivore, for that one. Okay, the next question we have. Caleb's Carnivore Quest, Dr. Kiltz, do you weight train? And if so, what do your workouts usually look like?
I'm not a massive weight trainer, so I typically do about an hour walking on a treadmill with a mild incline. I'll do some light weights. I'll do 100 push-ups a day. I like to do some deep knee bends, and I have weights at my stand-up desk where I just kind of light stuff, nothing overly heavy. I've done heavy before, and it's only hurt me. So I stay on the lighter side. I do my reps until exhaustion, and that works out nicely for me, and I'm not injured.
Thank you, Caleb. All right. The next question we have is, Coach Lisa, are you not in Mexico?
I'll be in Mexico on Tuesday. I'm actually, I'm just seems like traveling all around. I'm on my way down to Sarasota tomorrow, hang out with Miss T tomorrow, and then I'm going to work on Monday, and then we're flying to Mexico City on Tuesday. I'll be back in Syracuse for a baby shower the following Saturday for Tia's sister, and then I'm working upstate New York for about a week, and then I'm out to Austin for the mighty meetup in Austin, Texas, and a few interviews and connecting and sharing. There was someone mentioned I was on with Dave Mack. Dave Mack is just a rock star, amazing guy. He's just so calming.
Right. He's amazing. So good.
Amazing.
I don't know if he's hit it yet. I think he's right around 1,000 carnivore interviews.
Yeah, that's what he said, about 1,000. So it's like, whoa.
I don't know if you know this, Dr. Kiltz, either. He's your co-star in Healing Humanity. We filmed Dave Mack out in Australia. We filmed him for 2 reasons. Number one, he's got an incredible story of his own. As honestly, everyone we've interviewed has an incredible story when you really start digging into it. But we also interviewed him just because he's interviewed 1,000 carnivores. So like that, what have you learned after doing this? And so I'm really interested in sharing that with folks. Speaking of interesting, amazing people, I got to shout out this gentleman, Gregory. I got to start passing you some folks, Dr. Kills.
Yeah, and I got to do the same thing. I've got a lot of people that want to share the story, so we'll absolutely do that. But go ahead.
His name is Greg, or he goes by Gig. Let me just show you this real quick. I just published this video, I think yesterday or the day before. That is Gig. 70 years. It should be 70 years young. My apologies. 70 years young, but fit, active, just killing it, full of energy, carnivore. He's like, what if I would have found this when I first started being an athlete, like way back in the day?
I did watch. Amazing, inspiring. I mean, the guy looks 30. Amazing.
Shout out Gig. I didn't even read his question. Hi, Carrie. The second time I'm able to catch you this evening, please give my best to Dr. Kiltz. I've never met him, but admire him so much.
Back at you, Gig.
All right. Thank you, Gig. Susan asks, can we have a meetup in Ohio?
The answer is, where's Adam? The answer
right,
is yes.
Right. That's Adam's hometown. We got to do it. We got
to do that. And we're going to be doing a meetup in Boston area, but I'm also working on Syracuse, maybe September, which I know there's some people in Pennsylvania. Ohio's not that far away. And that might be it. But I don't know, how often you guys doing your meetups as you're going around the country?
It's been a lot. Like, I think right now we're trending maybe 1 a month. And there's more. So I got to tell you about this one, Dr. Kiltz. It's not official yet, but our good friend Jeff DeProsperous, really good friends with Dwight, his best friend, and Martha and the boys. Martha and the boys came down and they spent the weekend at our house. We've become very good friends. And long story short, they invited us to go back up there. And so Jen and the girls and I are going to be traveling back up there. And then we're all like, why don't we do a meetup? Jeff was doing a meetup every Monday. It was growing more and more. So I'll get this on your radar. I'll send it to you and Alia. We don't have an official date yet, but it's going to be in Toronto. So we're gonna be doing a meetup in Canada. So for those in that area.
Absolutely. We will be there. Meetup Mondays. You know, I love that. Jeff, you know, he still inspires us, and all of us will pass and we'll find our way home like Jeff. But the energy we're here to share, it continues throughout the universe. And that's why sharing your story is very important. And you might be afraid to tell your story. But you know, do it anyway. I think that's what we're all finding. I mean, I've always been uncomfortable doing this, but through doing it more and more, and even just sometimes showing up, it's like, oh man. But you know what? You'll find so many people here that it's like, well, that's me. And the critical part is we want to see someone like us. And so we all know there's someone like us, but you got to put it out there. And the more we do that, and Kerry and his amazing family and again, the whole tribe is so inviting, so joyful to hang around with.
Yeah, there's something about that. Like you said earlier, the carnivore family. I'm really looking forward to getting out to Texas because it's like a big family reunion or something. It's just amazing. So looking forward to that. And I love what you said about Jeff. Like his YouTube videos that he's done, his interviews that he's done, they're still inspiring people now. But what's going to have a huge ripple tsunami effect, I believe, is his story in the documentary is so powerful. It's one of the big stories in the documentary. So I can't wait to share that with the world. Jeff was so excited about the documentary, and yeah, his words were just so powerful in there. So really looking forward to that. So lots of meetups coming up for sure. And when the documentary's ready, Dr. Kiltz, I imagine we're going to do a lot of them over again because we're going to go to, just like we got a small town theater here, we're going to go to theater after theater to premiere the documentary. And as we do it in each city, why not? Let's do another meetup. Do it right at the movie.
Absolutely. I got my tuxedo. I'm ready to be there.
Yes, awesome. For those that don't know, Dr. Kiltz came all the way out to the Montello Theater, and it was pretty cool because on the marquee we got to put "Healing Humanity" starring Dr. Kiltz, which is it's the truth, and it's going to be what it's going to say when we have the actual documentary up there. So it's kind of cool to see that.
Bill's in the house. Bill Knott. Hey, Bill.
Bill Knott.
Daisy, how's Daisy doing?
Bill Knott is in the house. I think I mentioned this before real quick, but Jen and the family are also, amongst the other meetups, we're going to be traveling up to Alaska this summer to visit with Bill. I can't wait for that. So Jen is really looking forward to meeting Bill. It's like Uncle Bill now. He's like my brother. I've literally talked to him every day. Can't wait to get back up there. All right, we got another question. Steven, any good solutions for high ferritin on carnivore?
Don't measure it. And stay carnivore. It's fatty meat. Raw to rare. You want to focus on the fat, and I'd say over time it'll all heal. And I believe that a lot of the measurements that we do in standard medicine are wrong. That's one of the problems.
That's the thing I love most about carnivore. I don't measure anything. Keto was pretty good, but even keto, I was still measuring carbs and this or that. I just
keto
so good.
Well, what do you think of keto, Kerry? What's your take on it?
Oh, I'm glad you asked this. I am so thankful for keto because it led me to carnivore. Had I just heard about carnivore, I might have been like, that's insane. There's no way. When I heard about carnivore, I'm like, well, this is just strict keto. The thing I don't like about keto is I was trying to moderate my addiction to carbs on keto. I did keto for 10 or 15 years. And the most distressing, horrible thing in the world is to lose a whole bunch of weight and then gain it all back. And I did that on keto many, many times. There was one time where Jen and I, we had this picture taken with our arms around each other. I lost like 60 pounds. She lost weight. We're like, never again. I'm never gaining this weight back. And it was like 4 months later, gained it all back and then some. And I did that over and over again on keto. So I think keto is great, but I love how you said it. Keto's good, carnivore heals. People get mad at me when I say stuff about keto too. And I'm like, listen, whatever works for you is great. I'm looking out for all of the other people in the world that are like me, that are like Bill Knott. And I believe that's the majority of people. You look around in the world right now, 9 out of 10 people have poor metabolic health. 7 out of 10 people are overweight. Like most people, I believe, can't moderate that stuff. And so that's why I like
the brain is not meant to moderate plant food. It's meant to be hyperphagic. We're meant, when the plants are ripe to eat, you're meant to eat as much as you can in order to get fat to survive the winter, but there isn't one anymore. Our winter is a cave that you just call up and they'll deliver all the food you want. And I was going to say need, but it's all the food you want. And your brain has been tricked via a plant-based diet because the brain wants sugar because sugar gets you fat, because 50,000 years ago, 10,000 years on, 100 years ago, you did not even have easy access to food. There's no one bringing you food all the time. You got to hunt and gather it. And so ultimately, all of our problems, and again, I don't think obesity is a problem. Obesity is a sign that you are likely an herbivore or an omnivore and you're not a carnivore.
Absolutely. All right. Rich LeBoy gifted 10 Homestead How memberships. Thank you so much, Rich. Really appreciate that. For those that are new, every penny we get from those goes 100% towards the documentary. If you buy the shirts, that all goes towards the documentary. We have a super chat as well, which goes towards it. Any anecdotal stories or info of carnivore after a long fast, if you are switching from the standard American diet? I ask because this is my plan after my longest fast yet. I would like to know what to expect if possible. Carnivore after.
Well, I think that's what all the stories that Healing Humanity is putting together, and just keep on watching Healing Humanity of you switch from SAD and here you are, it's name a disease, right?
Right. Yeah. We've covered them all. In terms of, I wonder if they're asking, so you're saying that you were on standard American diet, now you're doing a long fast, and now you're asking about going into carnivore after the long fast. I don't know if I'm reading this right, so please clarify if I'm not, but if that's what you're saying, great. Like, I would not want to do a long fast from the standard American diet and go back to eating carbs. You're in ketosis, you're fat adapted, you're good to go. Like, jump right into carnivore is what I would do. Every fast I've done, I'm like, I even get stricter. I usually do lion diet after I'm done fasting.
Well, let me throw that in a little bit, because on people on a standard diet or on a keto diet, paleo keto diet, fasting will definitely help you feel better. And so, you can do some long fasts, but if you maybe go one meal a day or less, and you cook your plants well and you add animal fat, it'll help you tremendously. And we may see a lot more healing as a start for a lot of people, because fasting actually reduces your gut, and getting food out of your gut reduces the intake into the bloodstream of plant poisons and a high protein, low fat diet.
Thank you, Day Night. Okay, here's a question, Dr. Kilt's question for sure. Would a stroke survivor woman be eligible for fertility treatments at CNY if approved by their high-risk OB?
Absolutely, because I believe those strokes are secondary to inflammation. If you look up phytohemagglutinins, which are lectins, which cause blood clots, and in many women, they either had the birth control pill, which increases your risk, or they've had other implanted devices that increase your risk, or they've had some trauma that increases your risk. But the biggest risk, I think, is a plant-based, low animal fat diet, and then in the birth control pill. But yeah, we take care of women with all sorts of previous diseases. Even if they have current diseases, we can still take care of you, and working with your OBGYN high-risk doctors, your standard OBGYN, or any of your medical specialists will work with you to conceive and deliver a healthy baby. even if you want to use a surrogate or donor eggs, donor sperm, we can help you.
All right. Non-toxic mama. Carrie, your daughter Emma was amazing at Tampa. Her story made me cry. She's going to help so many young people. Oh, thank you so much. Jen and I are really proud.
I've got to get Emma and Jen on my podcast. So just, throw it out there, because they're amazing. And, behind every good man are good women. And Carrie has a really amazing family of women helping him and making him shine even more.
Yeah, 100%. Alia reached out about that. They're good. They're like, let's do it. They'll do it. And Emma I love that she's doing this, Dr. Kiltz, because she's building her confidence. Like, I don't know how you could build your confidence more than public speaking. So it's really helping her. But before this, she would have said, thank you, Dr. Kiltz, but I'm too nervous to go on a live stream with. She's been on my live streams. She's been asked to go on others. She's been nervous, but she's like, Dr. Kiltz, let's do it. So Jen and Emma both would love to, for sure.
And Alia, ALIA at drkiltz.com is a way to connect with our team. If you'd like to be interviewed on one of our podcasts, we'd love to do that. So, because again, it's sharing the stories that the doctors and the healthcare profession needs to hear. So yesterday, this morning, my days are getting crazy, but early this morning, I'm walking through the airport. I just make walks until they're ready to board all around the airport. And Rebecca, she's a pediatric nurse practitioner, says, "Hey, Dr. Kiltz, I'm just watching you on YouTube." And I had never met her before. And we talked about, we need to share this with all the practitioners, nurse practitioners, physician assistants, MDs, DOs, in order to get the word out that keto's good, but carnivore is like radically amazing.
Yeah. Hey, there's Jen. Dr. Kiltz, I'm here. Yes, I would love to be on your channel. There we go.
Love you, Jen.
Jen, we've said this before, but this isn't flattery. You are Jen's absolute favorite. She says ever since the first time I interviewed Dr. Kiltz was the day before we flew out to film Bill, the day before I even met Bill. And you pointed at the camera and you said, it's the documented stories that matter. And I was like, man, he was passionate about that. It didn't really sink in. And then afterwards, I'm like, yes, that's what it's all about. That's what we're doing here. That's it. Because you can't, I had a couple people today earlier ask me, like, I got a friend so-and-so, I really want them to do carnivore. How can I get them to do it? I'm like, you can't tell anybody what to do. You can inspire them though. You can show them a story of someone else that's done what they want to do, or maybe they have the same health issue and you can inspire them. So that's awesome that Jen's willing to do it too, because by the way, she was very nervous about going on other live streams, but she's like, Dr. Kiltz, I'm game. Let's go. So.
Yeah. And think about it. Growing up as a child, we always love to hear the story. If someone just told us do this or that, or, we want to hear and listen to the story. Sitting around the fire, the campfire, right? Right. The hunt is over and we're sitting around the fire and we're in the middle of the hunt and we're days into the hunt. It's that stories that keep us going in life. And this is exactly what this is. This is the inspirational stories. I mean, the theater, Montello Theater, it brings people there. And not only the kids look like at the screen, but the adults too, and they cry or they laugh or they get angry. We need to draw out the emotions, and carnivore, like it brings them back.
Yeah. I love that you said that. That's one thing. We do history tours up here, and I always tell people thousands of stories were told in this theater before a single movie ever played. Like I love the stories too. And what you were saying about like sitting around the fire, telling the stories, it goes back to like the first principle, the rule of carnivore that I always go back to. What did humans do since the beginning of time? We sat around a fire, we told stories, and we chewed meat off of a bone. And whenever I do those three things now, I feel amazing. I'm looking at a fire. I'm looking at the stars. I'm telling a story. I'm eating meat off the bone. And that's what we've done since the start of time. it's like the simplest, it's the simplest test if something's good or not. Just whatever humans have been doing forever.
Montello Theater's been around how long?
So the deed on the building goes back to 1859 before Lincoln was president. We're not sure if the building was here then or it might have been about 20 years after that, but roughly around the time of Lincoln.
Yeah, and so many stories for just over 100 years, right?
Yeah.
Like
Before it was a movie theater,
years.
Right. Before it was a theater, it was just a stage. So there were stage shows, but Jen and I dug into the history and it was fascinating. Like when the Titanic sunk in 1912, we didn't have a projector up here. They had like a rudimentary picture show and people came from all over to hear what's going on with the Titanic. We had a governor of Wisconsin speak here. They used to do roller skating, graduations, funerals, weddings, like everything. Is so many stories. It's just, you walk in the theater there, it's just like you can feel that energy.
I have a question for you, Carrie. What is it that inspired you to go out there and share your story in this lifestyle?
I was suffering for so long, and I don't want people to feel sorry for me, but I always show people all these pills, but I was in such a dark place. Like I get people now, just before I answer your question, I get people now that are like, oh, Carrie's Mr. Perfect. He's never cheated on carnivore. I'm 704 days. I haven't cheated once on carnivore. I don't want a pat on my back. The reason is because I was in such a sick and dark place for so long. Like I wasn't a father to my kids. I was sitting on the couch. I was depressed. I had brain fog. I wasn't a husband to my father. So when I found this, I never in a million years thought it was nutrition. I thought I had a chemical imbalance in my brain. So the main reason I wanted to tell my story was there's so many other people suffering like I am I see it in my own family. I see it in friends. I see it in my girls at that time and their peers. The rates of depression and anxiety are just crazy. So that was the main reason I wanted to tell my stories, because it's just like I've always hated bullies. And this is in some weird way, this is an injustice that there are people needlessly, hopelessly suffering or even dying, taking their own lives right now from depression and anxiety. And none of those people, I really believe this, none of those people, they don't know like, oh, if I just eat carnivore, it'll go away. They think it's a chemical imbalance in their brain because that's what their doctors told them. That's what they told me. There's something wrong with me. It's me. I want to help those people. It just breaks my heart that there's so many people right now suffering that don't need to be.
And it is, and I'm in the medical field, and I was trained to share with you and everyone that it's a genetic disorder or it's some unknown idiopathic cause, and you're likely going to live your life like this. So here's some pills, and here's a special group that'll help you understand your disease. And if you give them some money, that'll help propagate the information. And when my patients were getting pregnant on paleo and I started getting healing from that, I'm like, whoa. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, boys. You read my question right. All right. Well, thank you for the super chat. Right. We've got another one from Ben. I do carnivore for my hidradenitis. Hidradenitis
suppurativa. It's HS. It's HS. Very common. It's basically it's pustules and pimple and abscesses that can be on the face, the neck, the underarms, and around the genitalia and that area. And it's simply caused by a plant-based diet, because the microbes flourish on a plant-based diet. They make alcohol. The microbes go up the esophagus and out the rectum. They go everywhere in our body. And that's really the sorry, sad state of this story. It really is. I don't care what the disease is. You name it. It's just exposure to a plant microbial poison that basically wants to make you fertilizer.
100% truth right there. So I know what HS is. I never say the longer word, but my daughter, this was a great question, Ben, because this helps me answer the previous question you asked me, Dr. Kiltz. Why did I tell my story? The second major reason I did is for my daughter, Lily, who a lot of people don't know Lily because she doesn't want to appear on camera, but she had HS. And long story really short, on my 8th day of carnivore, I said, oh my God, Lily, this HS that you've been suffering with for 5 years, crying, painful, horrible. This kid had open heart surgery, blood clots. She's had all sorts of health issues. I said, maybe it's just the food. I watched Michaela Peterson and I'm like, Lily, maybe it's just the food. You should try this with me. Long story short, she tried it with me. After 8 days, half of her HS went away on her back. And after 30 days, it was almost completely gone from her whole body. She stopped eating plants. She started eating carnivore. And that was like a miracle to me. Like, she suffered for 5 years. She came to us crying one time saying, I just want to die. This hurts so bad. This is the 4th doctor you took me to. They're giving me pills, creams, injections. None of it's working. So to answer your question, Ben, and to answer Dr. Kiltz's previous question, yes, I believe it will. It put it into remission for my daughter, Lily, 100%. I believe it would do the same thing for you. And that's the other reason that I wanted to tell my story, is because I'm like, this is far beyond just mental health now. This is like a skin condition for my daughter.
And by the way, there's some people that need to be in front of the camera, behind the camera, because we can't do this without both sides. So
Right.
I think that, it's like the gaining the knowledge, but also sharing it in other ways is really critical. But I'm just flabbergasted by this whole story. And again, why some people get sick with certain diseases, we don't know. But we could tell you that if you have anything that you're feeling like, I'm just getting tired of this, you got to just do carnivore. And it's not trying carnivore, it's doing carnivore. And should you transition, you just do it. You throw away everything else, you get a trash can. You could buy just steak in it. You steak and that's it. But you could do bacon, eggs, butter, beef. You can do Kiltz's ice cream, but you gotta leave out the cane sugar or the stevia, the honey for now, in my opinion. And some people don't do well on dairy products, so you got to be watch out for that.
I just wanted to add, we were talking earlier about how life goes by so quickly, and it's so true, so fast. 30 days. Like, that's what I tell people. I'm like, you do whatever you want, but the other reason I wanted to get my story out there is it's a tragedy to me that people are going to go their whole lives never feeling like Dr. Kiltz feels, never feeling like I feel, never getting over that inflammation and that brain fog. 30 days, it's like nothing in the grand scheme of your life. And so many people, they'll go their whole life, get to their last breath, their last day on earth, and they're never going to know what it was like to really live. They're in this, it's almost like they're mildly drunk their whole life. It's crazy.
Well, think about the number of drugs that people take. And if you actually go to the website of the drugs and you see the number of side effects and complications from the drugs. So you're willing to take a drug with its tremendous amount of side effects, but you're unwilling to try carnivore diet for 30 days. I mean, even if you did it for 2 weeks, but it is, right. I think, your duty as a human being. And the last I looked, the proper human diet for a human being is a animal-based, carnivore. And I think animal-based means you eat animals. You don't eat fruits and honey. I'm sorry, that's an omnivore.
Right. Hey, the last thing I want to say about Ben, I'm just a layman, right? Like this, we got Dr. Kiltz here, so you got doctor questions. Let's go. But one thing I learned on doing carnivore is if it ends in itis, I-T-I-S, inflammation, all of these things, inflammation, arthritis, colitis, appendicitis. I had all those things. It was just inflammation from the food I was eating.
Itis and osis.
Osis,
diverticulitis, diverticulosis, endometriosis, endometritis. You name it, it's an itis, an osis. It's always inflammation. Inflammation is the cause of all disease. I don't care what it is. And the majority of it's caused by a plant protein, low-fat diet.
That is the thing. It drives me nuts when people are scared about carnivore. I'm like, you should be terrified of inflammation. You look around in the world, everyone's walking around with chronic inflammation for years and years, and they're like, not even worried about it. You talk about meat. Oh, I can't do that. That's crazy. Meanwhile, you're fully inflamed. Like, I'd be terrified if I was you.
But have you also noticed we make all the diseases of very complicated words. as if, well, oh, this is very serious. It's complicated, right? Oh,
Like
you'll
this one
never
that
understand it, right?
like
And
this one
and
that Ben's got here. The
yeah,
hydrogenitis.
and so ultimately, why don't you think about plant poisoning? It's all it is. It's like poison ivy. There is no poison ivy disease, right?
Right.
A drug overdose, accidental drug overdose, right? People playing with all this the recreational drugs, and some people die of them. Well, because they're not supposed to be in our body.
All right. I'm going to get yelled at, Dr. Kiltz. I spent way too much time on that one. That was a good question, Ben. Thank you. I don't know how much, I want to be respectful of your time too, Dr. Kiltz. I don't know how much time you got. We're coming up at the end of the hour here.
I'm good. Number one is this is past my bedtime. but I will do anything to 2-3 in the morning with Carrie Man and Healing Humanity. So I'm good.
Oh, I appreciate it. All right. Well, let's go real quick. We're going to jump right back into the questions, but people are going to get mad at me if I don't give this shirt away that we talked about. So we're going to give away a Healing Humanity shirt so you guys can represent. So here we go. Hashtag ribeye. The winner of a Healing Humanity shirt of any size that you would like is Terry Grueling. Congratulations, Terry. In order to claim your Healing Humanity shirt, just visit healinghumanity.movie/giveaway. healinghumanity.movie/giveaway. Thank you so much, Terry. All right, the next question we have is.
I'm good. Keep going.
Okay, we'll turbo through these. I say that.
Yeah, that's good.
Susan says, "Can too much fat slow weight loss?" A contributor on Facebook is telling people to cut fat.
Well, if you look at Maria Emmerich's protein-sparing modified fasting, basically, it is true that fat contains more calories or more energy input than the same amount of by weight of lean meat or even plants, and so the more fat you eat, again, polar bears get fat on fat because they want to get fat. And so this idea that high fat is always going to, keep you losing weight. I always say, move more, lift more, and eat less. And eating less fat can help those that are in their stall. But again, nature doesn't want you skinny. There's no other animal that actually works to be skinny. Only us dumb human beings.
Right. Hey, cheers, Dr. Kiltz.
Ching.
We need a Healing Humanity sponsorship from Topo Chico. I love these things.
My daughter said that to me today. That's exactly what she said.
Emma and I have been joking around, and we're like, today's video is sponsored by Topo Chico. We're like, no, it's really not. We just can't.
Okay, I would say yes, let's do it. Yeah. Let's put it out there. Let's go for sponsors. I think we need to build sponsorship to really share this story. That's a critical part. And bring in another $100,000, $1 million to help grow what you're doing, because this does not happen without input of money. And Kerry and his team put every dime that comes in right to making this movie. He's not out there putting money away to move on. He is investing in healing all of us.
Yeah. Oh, I just want to say one more time, we're so appreciative of your generous donation, Dr. Kiltz. It's like, couldn't have come at a better time. For just real quick, I'm going to start rambling again, but 45 interviews. We have about 5 more to go, but the expensive part of a movie is from this point forward: editing, sound grading, marketing, getting out to all the film festivals. And then we got bigger goals beyond that with this series that I'm really excited about. So I can't thank you enough, Dr. Kiltz. There's not been a bigger supporter. Not just on the financial side, but also coming out to all the meetups and just being so passionate about it. It really warms my heart too, because I'm thinking, like, you're a pilot, you're an author, you're a surgeon, you're a doctor. For anyone that's considering carnivore, that's what convinced me right there. Is like, you could be passionate about all those things. You're an artist, you're a musician. Like, you could just be playing your guitar right now or doing your artwork right now, but you're so fired up about this. you're talking about these stories and healing humanity and the importance of this nutrition. So
And I believe that, I mean, I've been doing carnivore for almost 15 years. And in that time frame, I've exponentially just had so much more energy to participate in life and help grow what we're doing, both on the fertility side. Trump just came out with working to make fertility more accessible and affordable. I own and run CNY Fertility Centers, which is one of the largest and most affordable IVF centers in America. So, that's my commitment. But this is what I talk about as much or more than anything else, because there's nothing more valuable than building your family. And too many men and women are suffering from infertility, I believe, due to a standard recommended Mediterranean diet. And the powers that be recommend a plant-based lean meat, little to no red meat, and alcohol, red wine for pregnant and lactating women. So you got to question our motives, but it's pushed by the money of propaganda, pharmaceuticals, big medicine. And again, I work in this space. I'm not chastising any individuals. I'm inviting everyone. Let's work to make America, but let's make everyone healthy again by simply looking at healing humanity and the proper human diet, as our good friend Ken Berry has brought to us, and help on the carnivore side. Again, keto is a great start. Carnivore takes it to the next level. But if you're in the keto world, it's high fat, cook the plants well, and eat less frequently. That's my comment.
we got a follow-up from Ben and another super chat. Thank you, Ben. Thanks, Dr. Kiltz. My doctors have been telling me to quit carnivore, go back on immunosuppressants, and start a drug trial, despite the fact I'm in full remission and pain-free for the first time ever. Inverted reality. Everything's backwards. All right. Okay, let's see. We got Who's Your Carnivore? Thank you, Brett. Gifted 5 Homestead How memberships. Another awesome individual. Man, that guy can cook some meat up too. I'll tell you what.
Oh my God! Well, he's coming. He and Brett and Ashley, they're the masters of the cooking. We're making sure they're at every one of them.
Yes. Awesome guys too. All right, we got another super chat. Gunther, $10. I've been online for 8 months. I do 2 meals a day. I eat 2-to-1 fat to protein ratio in grams. I still suffer from big energy crashes 2 hours after my first meal. Could it be because I'm eating too much fat?
Well, so this is why I do my meal at night, because I believe that it's natural to have a crash. Because do lions eat and then say, let's go for a run? No, they eat, they rest, they digest. The resting allows the blood flow to the bowels to allow proper digestion. So I think it's just smaller meal in the morning if that's what you do. I do 1 meal a day. I might have a small bite snack of steak, but I really do 1 meal a day 99% of the time.
Thank you, Gunther. Okay. Got that one. Chronically Carnivore is asking Dr. Kiltz, do you have any experience with carnivore moms being able to avoid advanced lipedema, swelling becoming worse during or after pregnancy?
Well, the lipedema and lymphedema, I mean, there's sort of a lot of inflammation. A lot of the fat for some people just doesn't seem to move. And I really believe that carnivore is going to reduce the inflammation that's preventing the proper lymphatic and blood flow to those areas. That'll help tremendously. And I would say, yes, it may take a little more time, more persistence. But one of the challenges is that women they're physiologically carry more fat, because remember, they carry a baby for 9 months. And my bet is in our ancient times, we did a lot more hibernation, migration, nesting, and so we needed the fat. And so, it comes off slow. By the way, fat's not meant to come out fast. My fat, I've got a little in the tummy area, and I don't try to chastise it. And I can tell you my weight, it goes up and it's slowly, but it's hovering at the 150, 155. And would I, trying to be 145, I can try all I want, but somehow it just gets right back to 150.
All right. Question from Sisse. Is the Maha movement aware that the Healing Humanity documentary is in the making? That's a great question. I think so. I know so for part of it. I've actually reached out to RFK before, right when we first started. I recently interviewed a woman. I don't know if you're familiar with her, Dr. Kilt. She's called Glyphosate Girl on Instagram. Her name is Kelly Ryerson, and she works closely with RFK, and she's part of it. So I had her. The interview isn't live yet, but it'll probably be live in about a week. So yes, she's part of the movement, and she's aware. Hopefully, we can get on the radar more, though. I'd love to.
Well, the answer is yes, and the reason is because we're going to make it happen even more. Right. That's our job. That's our job. And that's why I get a Healing Humanity shirt, wear it wherever you're going, Healing Humanity hats also, in order so other people will begin to say, hey, what's that all about? Or, hey, I know that I'm wearing the same thing. We have to do something different than we've been doing. It'll cut your healthcare costs. You'll feel better. Your doctor, you might meet playing golf or something. But you won't need to go to them to see them at doctor, any frequency or significance.
What is the pastor's name? Again, Kerry, going to the meetup. It's Pastor Jimmy and Annette Pruitt.
They're amazing.
All right.
They're so inspirational.
Captain Dave, when should a 54-year-old male see results for localized inflammation with carnivore?
2 to 4 weeks, 2 to 4 months. And in some cases, it could be 2 to 4 years. It depends what it is. A lot of the scarring in some areas may never go away, but I know my hernias, still needed some repair despite being carnivore. And I developed a calcific tendonitis. I have a lot of calcium deposits that have been in my body for a long time. And so, they're not going to go away overnight. They may never go away. It's okay.
Yeah, I will just add to just interviewing. This is anecdotal, but interviewing 45 people. One other trend we've seen is a lot of people notice something around 3 weeks with inflammation. Not everybody, like Dr. Kilt said, it could take longer for other people, but it was the 3-week thing has been remarkable because a lot of people say, yeah, right around 3 weeks. I hear this over and over again. So I like that too, because that gives people hope. Like, who can't try this for 3 weeks? Get rid of
inflammation. And that it's back to that 30 days.
Right. Amy Haas, Dr. Kiltz, how are you? I'm excited to see you and Carrie in Austin. Looking forward to seeing Amy again.
Nice, Amy. We love you.
Target Prime Rib, waiting for a meetup in New Jersey. We could have a party on the boardwalk. It'll happen. All right. Question from Maria Garcia. I'm about 95% carnivore, but I noticed the closer I get to 100%, the more my gums bleed. What is going on?
You're dumping oxalates that can cause inflammation, and but you got and the microbes, as they're dying off, they're releasing their toxins. But go 100%, and then your gums will heal, and you'll feel better. It'll go away.
Maggie C, I have SIBO, fatty liver, and a sluggish gallbladder, likely due to SIBO. Would the carnivore diet be a good option for me? We both smile.
Carnivore is for everyone. And again, fatty liver is there because the liver is meant to get fat. The problem is not a fatty liver. The problem is the inflammation that is caused to cause the dysfunction of the liver. And remember, SIBO is just bacterial overgrowth in our gut, secondary to plant protein, low-fat diet. Fatty meat, salt, water, one meal a day, and have faith in God and get moving.
Super chat from Nancy. Dr. Kiltz, I have factor 5 Liatin and 2 DVTs, so I'm on blood thinners. Will carnivore help me to get off of the meds? I'm so glad I met you in Tampa.
It was great, Nancy. Look up phytohemagglutinins, lectins. They're the ones that cause the blood clots. They come from plants, probably oxalates and others too, gluten and other plant glyco proteins. And factor 5 Leiden is a genetic mutation that increases your risk of blood clots. But that's not the cause. Just like BRCA gene is not the cause of breast cancer, it's a factor that increases your risk in the environment that we're living, which is basically we're in the wrong environment. We're lions, not sheep. And remember, when you feed a lion plants, they become sheep, domesticated animals. Yes, carnivore will help. Is that the answer?
That's the answer. That's always the answer. Thank you, Gregory, for a $10 super chat. Keep it going one human at a time. Hey, real quick, I just want to show this. We talked about the meetups before. We were getting questions in the chat before. What goes on at a meetup? What happens? What can I expect? Let me just show you this. This is a little clip. It's just like a minute or two. Shout out, Dr. Kiltz was at this event with us. This was our Arizona meetup. So this can, I think this will inspire some folks, and this will give you an idea of what goes on at some of these events here. So let me just share this here. There we go. We're here celebrating the movie, Healing Humanity, and we're in a movie theater. The goal of today is let's celebrate the real heroes that are walking around in the world instead of the fake heroes that we see on the screen. Hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things, and no good thing ever dies. We're going to celebrate you who has decided to stop poisoning yourself, and you who has decided to heal yourself.
You guys, you have to focus on your livers, you have to focus on your metabolic rate, you have to focus on getting your organs, your visceral fat, all of this stuff under control. I had to go on a very low histamine lion diet and making sure that all of my food was not aged, not smoked. I couldn't do egg whites, I couldn't do black pepper, I couldn't do cultured butter. I had to be very, very careful. We have to be our own doctors. We have to be our own nurses. We have to be our own caregivers.
There were days, I don't mean like some days, where I was too sick to even get up and get a drink of water.
I'm not saying eat 2 sticks of butter a day, but I'm saying like let's tweak things up. You gotta find a way to like get a little more food in your system. Start with breakfast, even if you're not hungry.
We're all here sharing our stories, and I got to tell you, I've got tears in my eyes and listening to all the amazing stories because we're all on a hero's journey.
You, just by being here today, are supporting this cause, and you're helping other people to hear this information and heal just by being here in this room.
I'm excited.
And every dollar that anyone invests in this, and if it's $1 or $10, $100, where we're at, it is going to this cause. And it does more than I've ever seen in medicine.
Yeah. I'm excited. I can't wait. So if you guys want to join us or some of the other meetups around the country, make sure to visit. There's links in the description below for all of the Dr. Kiltz, the meetups he's hosting, the Healing Humanity ones. There's crossover for many of those, but check it out in the description below. Should we just maybe turbo through a couple more questions?
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Miss Hooligan Fish, my dad was recently diagnosed as a predictable and kidney damage, 70 male. Oh, I think the message there got cut off. We'll see if you finish that message, Miss Hooligan Fish.
Well, I mean, kidney disorders is all secondary to plant protein, low fat diet. Go carnivore. Look at Bob, Carnivore Talk. He's on our Mighty Tribe on Mondays, and he has a small group that does a lot on kidney damage.
D, 3rd week carnivore. Congratulations. I get full after 1 burger, small steak, or 3 eggs. Amazing, not hungry. 73 years old in physical therapy for compressed discs in neck. Only lost 4 pounds. I don't know if that was a question or a testimony, because that sounds pretty good to me.
Healing, and it takes time, and keep at it. Don't give up. Personally, I always worry about physical therapists. I think they sometimes do too much motion. Just sometimes you have to rest to heal, stay carnivore, and meditation, prayer, and faith. And obviously, you got God in your life. That's a good sign.
Richard's question, keto nutritional for 3 months, carnivore 3 months, now Lion 5 months, have reversed autoimmune symptoms. Why is my dermatitis still so stubborn?
Well, because the microbes, like the mold, is very resistant. They don't go away fast. They're everywhere. But you keep at it. You might even try some tallow cream that's either homemade or doesn't have any additives. That should help a lot also.
All right. And
more fat.
Dr. Kiltz, is it true that the pancreas can be stimulated to secrete insulin by smelling food like hot cake, unless type 1?
Well, I mean, type 1 diabetics don't have insulin to secrete, supposedly. Type 2 does. But, the smell of food in general in our ancient evolution was, hey, I'm eating food. And so, sure, your insulin begins to be secreted. Insulin is a digestive enzyme, by the way. It's secreted in the liver in order to convert sugars and amino acids to fat. So just the visual cues, the gustatory, the smelling of food will bring that about for sure. And insulin is never the problem. There's nothing pathologic about insulin. The problem is a high protein, high carbohydrate plant diet and a low animal fat diet, and eating 3 to 6 meals a day. Basically, from birth to death, our guts are full of food, and that's not good for us. Insulin is never the problem.
And a question from David, how to help a man with slow swimmers male sperm?
Well, the same problem. They have a lot of inflammation secondary to the diet, and carnivore, fatty meat, salt water helps a lot. I call it the baby's diet: bacon, eggs, butter, beef, and salt. Be careful about too much heat workouts. Cool them down. That'll help a lot. And that's the main thing that I think is the cause. Now, we do sometimes use Clomid or HCG on guys. I do recommend organ meat supplements. That can help. But fatty meat, salt water, 1 meal a day, and have faith in your swimmers. You have great swimmers, by the way. It takes 1 great sperm, 1 great egg, 1 great embryo. I have great swimmers.
Awesome. All right. So if anyone wants to learn more or join our membership site, it's healinghumanity.life. I got a promo code in the description below. Check out Kilt's Mighty Tribe, drkiltz.com. Come to our meetups. Is there any other things you want to shout out or mention, Dr. Kiltz?
Well, I'm typically on 5 a.m. Monday through Friday, Sundays at 10. Tomorrow's going to be a tough day. I'm not going to be on tomorrow because of travels. And Monday nights at 5:30. If you go to 5:30 Eastern time, if you go to drkiltz.com, all of our events are posted there. We welcome everyone to the Kilt's Mighty Tribe and join communities. That's critical to do. And I'll see you in Austin. I'll be at Meatstock in Tennessee coming up, Gatlinburg in May. Create your own meetups, by the way, that are all supporting and sponsoring a group like Healing Humanity to help share the word. That's it.
That's wonderful. And there's a link in the description for drkiltz.com and Dr. Kilt's YouTube channel. So everyone go support and follow. And thank you so much, Dr. Kiltz. I really appreciate it. You always have an open invite, but this was a great conversation. 400 people on here. This is a good conversation. Hopefully we've inspired some people. You answered some great questions. And yeah, hopefully we see a lot of you out at some of these meetups. Really looking forward to that too. So thank you so much, Dr. Kiltz.
It is the best in person to see people, because by doing that, we're even invigorated even more, because when you see people in the flesh, this is who we are. We're herds. We want to come together and we want to promote and inspire each other.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Kiltz. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night. We'll see you on the next one.
Good night, everyone. Good night. Love you. Godspeed.